In this video we're going to look at the management process, what it takes, what you do as a manager. And as you can see by this cartoon, a manager is a whole lot of things. The manager can be a coach, coaching people to do their jobs, a facilitator, making stuff happen, a negotiator, negotiating for the provision of resources or money or things like that, evaluator, looking at how people are performing, are they doing the job, aren't they doing the job, and a mediator. There's always conflict, especially in engineering, and basically stopping everyone from just having a big screamy fight, actually sitting down, negotiating it, coming to an agreement. So let's look at the processes that the model that we're using for management. You can see that this is a cycle, so you're looking at over the long term. You arrive at a project, you decide you need to plan it first. So what do we need to do? How are we going to do it? So what are my objectives? I want to bring it on time, I want to bring it on budget, I want to do what the client is requiring of me, or I want to do what is in the construction document. How am I going to do it? I need resources. I need to determine where those resources are coming from, when I need them, how I'm going to get them, when they're going to be coming into the project, what part of the project are they going to be in. So planning my resources that I need and when they're all going to happen. Then when the project starts, so it could be a design project, it could be a report writing project, it could be your assignment for this course. They are all projects, in construction as well, obviously. So once you've planned it, you need to do it. So you provide and coordinate the resources. So this is where you, if you're doing a construction project, you ring up the concrete people and say, we need 5 cubic meters of concrete at this particular time and this particular date and this particular location. You arrange for the concrete pump to be there. You make sure that you've got enough labourers to be able to do the job. So you organise them. You make sure that they've got the equipment, so you might go down to the hire shop yourself and get the equipment. And then you implement what's planned. You make sure it all happens. And you check. So as you're doing the work, and at the end of the work, you make sure, are we actually achieving our objectives? Are we bringing it in on time? Are we actually doing what we're required to do? So if we're doing concrete, for example, you'll be checking to make sure, have we got the right type of concrete here? Is the steel properly spaced? All those sort of things there. And if there is a problem, what went wrong? And fix it before it becomes a major problem. So it's always good to be picking up problems when they're small problems, because if you forget about them or don't act upon them, they'll become big problems. And the last one there is act. How can you fix those defects? What happened? How can I make it so that that doesn't happen again? So if the wrong concrete is delivered to site, you need to find out what happened and then make sure it doesn't happen again. So it might have been that your writing is illegible and the supplier couldn't read your writing and gave you the wrong concrete. So the next time you need to type it, for example. Or it might be that the steel spacing was wrong because the foreman can't read plans. So you need to train that person up to be able to read plans. So you're always improving it. Looking at your own performance after each assignment and on your course of study, you should be looking at that and saying, what did I do wrong? How could I do better next time? How can I go from being a C to a B, or from a B to an A? How can I do stuff better? And so then the next time when you're planning the next assignment, when you're planning the next concrete pour, you are doing it better. You say, okay, well last time we did this and it didn't quite work. This time we're going to do this, which should work better. So you're always improving. That is why this is shown as a cycle. You're always doing plan, do, check, act. Next time, plan, do, check, act. This is not just once, so you don't just plan a project and then leave it. As a project is going through, you may find, okay, well it's not working quite well, I need to redo the plan. Or new stuff might come up halfway through the project, you need to plan that. So it's not just one project. During the project there's a whole lot of activities that you're doing, and each one of those activities you're going through this process. So don't think of this as this is what we do in a project. The first thing we do is plan it, then we do it, then we check it, then we act. This is a process that is continually happening all through the project. So we talk about a process, which is a series of actions. So this is a process. And these are activities. So we've got planning activities, doing activities, checking activities, and acting activities. So they all happen together. So why? Why do we do this? Why do we have to do all this management? Why can't we just rock up on site and then everything happens? And the reason for that is it doesn't. When you look at a construction site, you might think, oh, everyone just knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing because they're being managed properly. If you go to a construction site and it's a total mess, you know that there's probably a bad manager there. And we need to manage our projects properly, not just when we're doing the work, but so that we achieve the objectives, we actually produce what the client wanted, or we build what is required by the contract documents. And we need to do that because what we do as civil engineers, they are normally complicated. We're dealing with the weather, we're dealing with soils, we're dealing with people, we're in the middle of a community. So there are lots of activities, there are lots of people involved. Even just a simple building project has lots of trades. So there'll be carpenters, there'll be plumbers, there'll be electricians, there'll be roofing people, there'll be cladding people, there'll be painters. So there's all those activities all happening together, and it's the job of the manager to coordinate them. They can be expensive. What we do, our projects, $100,000 is a small project. Millions of dollars is a medium-sized project, and hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars is a big project. So if you make a mistake on those sort of things, that can cost a lot of money. If you're not doing stuff quite as efficiently as you should, that can cost a lot of money. So it's expensive, and mistakes are expensive. That's just in money. If you make a mistake and someone gets hurt, that's even worse. That means that someone is injured or even someone is killed. So that brings me on to that other one there. It's dangerous. What we do is dangerous. If people aren't being properly managed, stupid things can happen, people can get injured. And what we do is important. We provide infrastructure for a community. Without the roads and the pipes and the water and the wastewater and the stormwater that we provide, a community can't exist. A city can't exist bigger than a village. So what we do is important. If it's not built properly, then people's standard of living, quality of living actually drops. So efficient and effective. Efficient means that you're doing it as well as you can with the resources you have. Effective means that you're using your resources properly. As required to construct engineering works as required, on time, to budget, and without causing harm. So those are our objectives.